Ian Haywood Jr. is a philanthropist, entrepreneur, and former member of the National Youth Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago. He was appointed as the first chairman of the National Youth Council of Trinidad and Tobago from 2010 to 2014 and has been the recipient of 2 National Youth Awards for Excellence in Sports Management and Entrepreneurship. Through his NGO, Celian Group, Ian has served the community for over 13 years, developing youth through sport, culture, and spiritual activities, spearheading the launch of the Gospel Music Awards of Trinidad and Tobago in 2018 and the long-standing community football tournament Haywood Cup. Notwithstanding his altruism, he also has an outstanding corporate profile, currently serving as the business development manager at Answer Automotive. In addition to sitting on several local boards, Mr. Haywood Jr. holds an MBA with an emphasis in leadership, innovation, and entrepreneurship. Please welcome this evening's featured speaker, Mr. Ian Haywood Jr.
Minister of Community Development, Culture and the Arts, Dr. Nayan Kasvidoli, founder and managing director of PRVM, Performing Arts Academy, Mrs. Shelley Ann Akwi, graduates, all other protocols observed, distinguished guests, good evening. I am honored and humbled to be considered or chosen to bring the feature address this evening. Growing up, I always remembered and always wrapped my head about trying to be great and wanting to be the greatest thing that ever happened to Trinidad and Tobago. And because of that, I'm on this journey and I'm in this place right now. That being said, it's probably one of the hardest periods I've gone through since I made that conscious decision to go after that dream. I remember when I was in university in year 3, and I had an okay GPA, but my first business started to take off, and I was faced with a dilemma because schoolwork started to drop. And then for some weird reasons, the weirdest things came up on social media. So the likes of like Steve Jobs and Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg and Oprah Winfrey, all those things came up, and they had these success stories. And what all these people had in common was they all dropped out of university. And I took that as a sign. Yeah. So, in my pursuit for greatness, I dropped out of university. Yeah. And for a couple of years, it was extremely exhilarating, being considered for a whole host of different accolades, traveling the world representing Trinidad and Tobago. As a college dropout, it was the cheat code. And then then I realized, for about 4 or 5 years, it took me that long to realize that I wasn't actually moving forward anymore. I was actually regressing. So I had no money. I was hungry. My jackets were worn over and over and over. And it was very depressing. And what was concerning is it took me 4 years to realize that. And it's real, because sometimes the hype and the glitter could confuse us. And at that point, I had to do a little more research into these great names and how they did it. And what I realized is they were not even 1% of the people who were great. The 99 other % had to work very hard, had to sacrifice tremendously, had to go through vigorous training and vigorous pursuits of education. So I modeled my life against the lucky few. And I was not that lucky. So at that point, I made a conscious decision because of how I positioned my mind and where I wanted to be. I made a conscious decision to go back to school. And now I have a master's with distinction and pushing on for further levels of education. And all of that is really to say that sometimes we fall, sometimes we get hit down, sometimes we miscalculate. But once you keep your mind focused on your purpose, you would be given the fuel and the energy to push on, to readjust, to recalibrate, and move forward. So the question is, what is your purpose? And if it's something that you can't stop thinking about, don't stop working towards it. No matter where you turn, it's fighting you. Don't stop working towards it. There was a saying that I heard that there are two great days in a man's life, man generically. The day you are born and the day you discover why. Purpose. There are some of us or some of those graduates who would have entered the program and during their program would have come to their now realized purpose. There are some of them who would have realized purpose before and then enter the program. But whatever it is, we have to understand that we are a chosen people. And that's to be very honest. And we are chosen to be great. We are destined to be great. We are destined to be the best. We are destined to set the standard. It is not by chance, but by destiny, by purpose. In Deuteronomy 28:13, it says, "And the Lord shall make you the head and not the tail, and thou shalt be above only and not beneath." Pastor, how are you doing there? Yeah. But it's really a challenge, and we have to take responsibility for our direction and for our calling. And we have a duty to represent it well. Because this is not just entertainment, this is not just fun. It's our duty and our responsibility to represent, in this case, the gospel industry with distinction, without apology, with a certain kind of class that anybody in Trinidad and Tobago could watch you and appreciate your quality and your professionalism. So I want to just give the graduates and for all of us in the audience some keys to unlock that potential. That potential that I believe we have, especially those who would have gone through the program and gone through the process, that potential. If you want to be taken seriously, be consistent. You only have one chance to make a great first impression. Dress how you want to be addressed. Your attitude, not your aptitude, determines your altitude. Your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. Don't limit your challenges. Challenge your limits. Out there, someone is waiting to take your spot. Only you can prevent them from doing that. Perfection is our goal. Excellence will be tolerated. Opportunities are never lost. Someone else takes them if we don't. Seize your moment. And in closing, for all those artists or ministers or anyone who want to develop a brand or go into this music as a job, as a livelihood, to accompany the ministry and the impression that is being placed on them. And all of those of us who are here who are doing different things in our lives, your smile is your logo. Your personality is your business card. And how you feel and how people feel about you is your trademark. So stamp your logo wherever you go. Leave your business card with everyone you meet. And let them remember your trademark. Thank you.